The worst Gulag, Kolyma. The name Kolyma sends shivers down the spines of those familiar with its dark history. Nestled in the remote northeastern reaches of Siberia, the Kolyma region was home to one of the most notorious forced labor camps, or gulags, during the Soviet era. The stories that emerge from this desolate and unforgiving landscape paint a grim picture of human suffering, brutality, and dehumanization. The origins of the Kolyma Gulag can be traced back to the early 1930s, when Stalin's regime embarked on a campaign to industrialize and develop remote areas of the Soviet Union. The vast expanses of Kolyma, rich in natural resources such as gold, timber, and minerals, became a prime target for forced labor camps. Political prisoners, perceived enemies of the state, and ordinary citizens deemed a threat to the regime were sent to Kolyma to work under inhumane conditions, often for crimes they had not committed. The journey to Kolyma was harrowing in itself. Prisoners were transported in overcrowded and squalid freight trains for weeks on end, enduring harsh weather conditions, inadequate food and water, and rampant disease. Many perished on the journey itself, their bodies discarded unceremoniously along the tracks. Upon reaching Kolyma, the prisoners were faced with a landscape that offered no respite. The bitter cold of the Siberian winter, with temperatures plunging well below freezing, made survival a daily struggle. The work in the labor camps was backbreaking, with prisoners subjected to long hours of labor in sub-zero temperatures, often with minimal clothing and no protective gear. The primary purpose of the labor camps in Kolyma was the extraction of natural resources, and the prisoners were exploited to the limits of human endurance in pursuit of this goal. The living conditions in the Kolyma Gulag were nothing short of hellish. The prisoners were crammed into overcrowded barracks where they were exposed to vermin, disease, and malnutrition. The lack of basic sanitation and medical care meant that illness and death were constant companions. Brutal punishments and executions were commonplace, serving as a constant reminder of the absolute power wielded by the authorities. The psychological toll inflicted on the prisoners in Kolyma was equally devastating. Isolation, fear, and despair were the norm, as the oppressive regime sought to crush any semblance of hope or resistance. The constant threat of informants and betrayal meant that trust was a rare commodity, and the very concept of solidarity was a distant memory for many. The legacy of the Kolyma Gulag is one of unspeakable suffering and loss. The death toll in the camps is estimated to be in the hundreds of thousands, with countless lives snuffed out by the unforgiving conditions and systematic brutality. The scars left by the Kolyma Gulag run deep, not just in the physical landscape of Siberia, but also in the collective memory of those who endured its horrors. In the years following the collapse of the Soviet Union, efforts have been made to memorialize the victims of the Kolyma Gulag. Museums, monuments, and commemorative events serve as a somber reminder of the atrocities committed in the name of ideology and power. Efforts to preserve the history of the Gulag system, including the Kolyma camps, are ongoing as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and a warning against the perils of unchecked authority. The story of the Kolyma Gulag stands as a chilling testament to the depths of human cruelty and the resilience of the human spirit. It is a stark reminder of the atrocities committed in the pursuit of totalitarian power and the enduring legacy of suffering left in their wake. As we reflect on the history of the Kolyma Gulag, we are compelled to ensure that such horrors are never repeated, and that the memories of those who suffered are honored and preserved for future generations.